Welcome back to the world yet again. Today we are working on just a few things here and there, nothing too extremely major, but are mostly once again preparing to do bigger things very soon. I think next episode we should actually have the ability to do some bigger project. I'm planning on starting work on a small village nearby the house. Though, while I do say small, it may be bigger than I expect. I really don't have any idea how big I'm gonna make it yet, but we will see. And it very well may expand as time goes on. Most likely it will, but we will see when we get there. But anyway, without further ado, let's look at what progress I've made. After getting home and doing my best to try and get rid of the sky pancakes that have returned, I get to work trying to enchant some of my diamond equipment I got to get some decent enchantments. Unfortunately, this first go-around doesn't really go so well. I don't really get anything that great, and the enchantment table is just kinda mean to me to start today off. And of course, as soon as I actually get the few enchantments I can, the sky pancakes come back to try and kill me, but this time I'm low enough that I just decide to go back inside. I whack a grindstone down near my enchantment table and disenchant my pickaxe, but I don't have enough levels to try again yet, so I kinda need to go out and kill more monsters. But after realizing that it was day, and I don't want to go back to my spider farm yet, I decide to break my furnaces to see if they have any good amount of experience in them, and they actually have a decent amount, and I actually get back up to level 30, which is enough to try the enchantment table one more time. Fortunately for me, this time I actually get a good enchant on my pickaxe, which, that's pretty good. Fortune 3, I will always accept that. And, since I already got a Silk Touch Diamond pickaxe from End Raiding, I have a Fortune 3 and a Silk Touch pickaxe now, which is pretty nice to have this early on. But neither of them have mending, so they're going back in the chest. I will get that mending villager eventually, just not yet. It's gonna take a little bit, because I hate villagers. That being said, I have kinda gotten sick of farming my own food, and well, you can't have a good village without a good food farm, so I think I'm gonna have to deal with villagers because I'm gonna be making an automatic potato farm. Because at this point in the game, potatoes are better than carrots. I do now understand that carrots are really good, but at this point in the game, potatoes are better. And, since automatic potato farms take a decent amount of stuff to make, I'm actually gonna use a shulker box. Which, that's pretty cool. But yeah, first things first, I need large quantity of potato, which I know, seems weird, but also a lot of glass. Which means, I need to go raid the beaches. Luckily, getting a stack and a half of sand didn't take too long, so now it's time to head back to the sun. Now you may be asking yourself, why do you need to go to the sun to make an automatic potato farm? And honestly, top of my head editing me does not remember, so we'll see. Probably. Because I'm apparently far too lazy for my own good and don't want to look forward in the video, so we'll figure out together. It was lava, apparently. I mean, to be fair, should have expected it because it's the sun, but at the same time, why do I need lava for a potato farm? Oh, yes, for the glass. I knew that. Definitely. I never didn't know that, not even once. Yep. I knew that the whole time. Anyway, moving on to the next ingredient. This one is fortunately very easy because it's just 8 carpet. And I already had a lot of string, so getting 8 carpet was pretty easy. The only hard part was trying to figure out where to put the spare piece of carpet. So for now I just sort of ignored it, made a bed, and put it in with 3 building blocks that I will not end up using for the potato farm. And now for the fun part, where I head down into the mines because I need hoppers, and I think a couple hopper minecarts, both of which require iron. So yeah. More iron. I need to make an iron farm. Luckily, it's not too much iron, so I managed to find it pretty easily and only with a couple near-death experiences. So overall, pretty much a win. And after that, I need to make a couple chests for the hoppers and for just storage, but luckily that's pretty easy. And after collecting just a few more knickknacks, I managed to get pretty much everything we need, and that does include going back down to the mines because apparently I didn't have enough iron for the hopper minecarts, but we don't need to talk about that. And now with all that out of the way, it's time for the fun part of, villager. Jokes aside, this was actually a pretty painless process, all things considered. Mostly just struggled getting them actually in the boats, but after that it was just gotta get them over to the spot that I picked out. Other than that, it was pretty easy. But before I start work fully on our farm, I do decide to take a moment to actually make a villager breeder pretty close to where it's gonna be, because it's gonna be pretty convenient to just have a large amount of villagers nearby if I need them. This also wasn't too difficult. It was just basically make a box, put villager in it. Not too hard. And now, with all the preparation work done, I can actually start work on the potato farm. Which is pretty simple, but let's walk through it real quick. First thing you're going to want to do is set down 10 glass blocks diagonally from each other in a straight diagonal line. Then at the end of the diagonal, add 2 more blocks there to make it a 3 wide, and then add 9 blocks in a diagonal. This is going to be pretty much the same as the first 10 long diagonal you made, just you already have the first glass block there, so it's 9 that you're putting down, technically. But anyway, at the end of that, you're going to want to put another 3 long area, and then basically just make it a diamond-shaped area. Once you've got that, remember to make this glass too tall, and also, if you notice, at the very beginning there was, in the first 3 wide, there's a gap. That gap is important. Leave the gap there. After clearing out the grass in the middle and filling in any holes there may be, or cutting down any hills there might be, you should have a pretty simple shape of just glass, 2 high wall. But yeah, it should look something like this. After that, make a quick infinite water source in the middle so that you can start placing down the water on the edges of your area. You're gonna want to put them 4 diagonally from the edges. They're gonna be basically right next to each other, just 1 gap in the middle diagonally. And then after that, basically just go across and do the same thing on each edge. And lastly, you're just going to want 1 water source in the very center of your diamond. After that, you can grab your 8 carpets and put them out over all of the outer water blocks. Remember to put them over, not in the water. And then after that, you can grab your composter and your light block and just put the composter directly on top of the middle water, and then the shroom light or whatever light block that you got directly on top of that. After that, grab your bed and put it inside on one of the very edges of the composter and put 3 dirt blocks over top, like that, so that it has a sort of roof. And then after that, it's time to grab your hoe and till up the vast majority of the inside of your diamond. I say vast majority because you want to keep at least 1 block. I usually keep all of the blocks directly around the bed, untilled, because if the villager does not have a block around its bed to get out of bed at night, it will wake up and stand on top of its bed and suffocate itself in the ceiling. And trust me here, you don't want to deal with that. After that, plant as many carrots or potatoes as you have in the middle. Both carrots and potatoes work like this. I'm not sure if beetroots and wheat do, but I'll update you if it does. But you don't actually technically have to fill out the entire center, because eventually the villager will plant everywhere you didn't. But the more potatoes you put in, the faster it will get going. And now we can start work on our collection system. First, you're going to want to put a hopper right where the gap in that 3 long glass is at the very beginning. And on top of that, you're going to want to put a hopper minecart and break the rail immediately. And then you're going to want to put another hopper minecart on top of the hopper minecart you already have, which is pretty easy to do just by placing a temporary block, a rail, and then the hopper minecart, and then breaking the temporary block. And now you can grab your remaining glass and make a 1 by 1 little area right there for a villager to stand in. Also, do not forget the trapdoor that goes on top of the hopper minecarts. That is very important. Next, you're gonna want to make a little hole underneath the 1 by 1 area to start work on your storage area. I'm gonna make mine very simple because I don't think it needs to be very extravagant. So it's basically just going to be a hole with some chests in it at the moment. All you really need to do down here is connect the hopper that you already have up there in the ceiling and put it down into some chests, and that's really it. And now it's back to our favorite part, villager transportation, which, you know, could be worse, but is always at least a little bit annoying. But basically all you're going to need to do is get one villager in the big middle area. They're going to be a farmer villager, and you need to make sure that they are a farmer, and that the person in the small area isn't trying to steal the job, because that will break everything. But yeah. Just make sure the guy in the middle is a farmer, and the guy in the little tiny spot can be whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Now, as you can see, I put in the guy for the small area first, which, when you're doing yours, I would not recommend. I'd recommend putting in the farmer first, because it makes it way easier to deal with job station stuff, because that guy in the small area is absolutely going to try and steal the farmer job. And once you get your second villager in the center, you're technically fully done. You just have to wait for it to start working. Though I would highly recommend building an entire dirt ceiling over the area, because if you ever want to build a second floor, you'll need it to be dirt anyway, and you want a ceiling because you don't want anything getting in somehow, because that's never fun. I start off using deep slate bricks around the glass area just to make it look a little better than it would have, but other than that, basically everything is going to be dirt. I make some divots in the dirt roof, which, by the way, use slabs, don't be like me and just make holes and put blocks there. Use slabs. I don't think it makes a difference, but it looks way better. But other than that, you're pretty much set once you've done that. And now you just get to wait for all the potatoes to grow and the people to start throwing spuds at each other. And, well, yes, it does take a while to actually get going. Trust me, once it actually starts going, even just this one floor is pretty good to just pump out large quantities of potatoes. It basically is going to solve my food problems, so that is my food issues basically finished, though eventually I will probably make it bigger for when I need to get a lot of villagers for the village. That being said, I think with all that being done, I think it is going to be time to log off for today. Next time, I will try and get another farm going. I would like to get a wool farm because wool is really good to set down plans for larger structures, which I think the village definitely will count as. But other than that, I think that is it for today, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye bye.